Good morning to everybody. I think I'll just say a little bit. Perhaps I think it's always I don't get paid unless I talk about Brunel's mission and vision. So I just need to say a little bit, because we are celebrating our 50th anniversary still this year. It's still going on. The celebration is still going on. They're nearly finished now. And of course, in our Royal Charter, which was written back in '66, it says, that our students will know the relevance of their learning to the affairs of the realm, which is lovely. And also there's a little piece about our research, which would be informed by the needs of society. And that, of course, has informed Brunel's academic journey since then and made us what the institution we are today. That is one that is very engaged with society, where students are doing courses that are informed by the needs of their potential employers, where we have a large number of students going on work placement schemes, where we have a good employability record, and where our staff, whether they're in sociology or engineering, understand the benefits that their research might bring to society and are developing their research programs often in partnership with the potential beneficiaries. And so open access, then, which is why we're here today, isn't all that strange, because if you believe that research is going, if what you're doing as an institution is to do research which is going to be a benefit to society, then it's a little bit difficult then to be in a position where you don't understand that actually, first of all, making it so that people can read it is likely to be something that is useful, helpful, and desirable for an institution to do, and also broadly allowing the benefits of the research to be unlocked by potential beneficiaries. So it is something that is essential and actually absolutely natural part of what we do. So I'll pick up my early involvement in open access at Brunel in a few minutes. But so welcome to Open Access Week, and as Malcolm says, it's a global event, and this is the 8th year, and I think we celebrated it most of those years here at Brunel. And it's an opportunity for the academic community and researchers to learn more about potential benefits of open access and to share what we've learned so far with colleagues and help to try to raise the profile of open access and inspire greater take-up, as, of course, open access really is developing into the absolute norm for scholarship and research activities. So the Scholarly Communication Office at Brunel have organised this conference and brought together some industry professionals, academics, researchers to talk about our commitment to open access here at Brunel. The university has an ongoing programme of activity and training to ensure that our colleagues understand the process of open access and how it's become part of the rules of research that they have to follow every day. We wanted, as part of this day, to get a better insight into what's going on outside the institution, to support colleagues who are engaging in open access and try to share some ideas about best practice. So I'm sure our speakers today will offer a wealth of expertise and experience and advice about what is going on and how we can try and ensure that we remain at the forefront of this agenda. So Brunel has, over the last 10 years, as Malcolm was kind enough to mention, was an early adopter of open access. And I think in 2005, I was entrusted with the job of deciding whether we were going to have DSpace or ePrints to support our open access. I'm still not absolutely sure whether we made the right decision, but all that is now history. And in fact, for the first couple of years, the Bureau archive had my happy smiling face on the front, but after a while they removed that and put something a little bit more corporate on it, and deposits went right up after that. So it really took off once we disassociated it from me. That was, I think actually it was 2004 we started on that project, and then got going, first of all with theses and then later with research outputs in about 2005, 2006. And I remember at that time being asked by asking what we were going to make it mandatory for all staff to deposit their articles, and the Vice-Chancellor asked me what we were going to do with academic staff who didn't deposit, and I still do not know the answer to that question, of course. So what does mandatory mean in the UK higher education? So research successes, increased funding, more publications, more income generated, require significant investment in infrastructure at institutions. So we introduced BRAD, our staff outputs database driven by symplectic elements, in about 2009-10 to support academic deposit, help with the ref submission, and more recently help with research data archiving, which is being supplemented by a data archive fig share and dedicated support staff in the library and the scholarly communications team. So most of our research outputs are now open and freely available to everyone at the point of access, and our researchers therefore are benefiting from a much wider dissemination of their research, and their papers are more visible, they're getting cited more, and they're more downloadable. It's good for careers, it's good for research groups, it's good for institutions, and it's good for researchers. And it increases the amount of accessible research, which actually is good for the research infrastructure worldwide. If we have colleagues in the Far East or in India, any other part of the world, who find it difficult to access research, us providing our research free at the point of readership allows them to get it to engage in the cutting edge of what's going on, allow them to contribute their ideas, and that improves the quality of research worldwide. So it's an important part of the research infrastructure worldwide, and actually allows academics all over the world to make contributions to the success of their own local communities, but also, as we all are seeking to address global challenges. So in the last 10 years at Brunel, 16,153, I think this was written yesterday, of our published outputs could be found in open access. And this has been driven, this includes the over 4,000 scholarly outputs that are published in gold open access, and it's been funded partly through our own funds, but also through the RCUK block grant. And this is in part driven also by the recommendation of the Finch report about the need to have a lot more of a much greater proportion of our outputs published in gold open access. And our institutional repository, which as I started about 2006, now has 12,247 full text outputs on it, and I know there's a number of millions of downloads a year at the moment, so very highly accessed, and it raises the profile of research at this institution quite substantially. So clearly, HEFGI and RCUK policies have shaped the way in which we have developed this agenda here at Brunel, but I think our ethos about being an early adopter, trying to ensure that as much as possible is available free to all who want to access it, has driven this agenda as well. And we are committed to trying to make it easy as possible for researchers to uphold these values and at the same time meet our obligations to funders and wider society. So now the focus has of course turned to open data, which is the next phase of open scholarship. And you can think of data of course as a research output, and that takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think we're getting to that. And it's like an academic publication. But data of course is infinitely flexible, repurposable, potentially by researchers, many different countries, many different disciplines, for many different purposes. And of course, open data is part of good scientific practice. It allows findings to be validated more easily. Researchers can crowdsource data analysis, open up new ways to meet collaborators and expand research opportunities well beyond the UK, worldwide. So open big data or big open data, and I think the debate is still raging, is the stuff of dreams, but clearly the way in which research is going, and it's going to open up huge new opportunities for researchers and for society, and it is something that research organisations need to embrace. And of course the best data archives, they do much more than just contain data. They make the data discoverable, expanding the research and the impact of the research that is generated from looking at this data, and it's positive for all stakeholders, researchers, funders, institutions. And there, of course, it's not straightforward, and it's clearly the next bit is going to be quite a bit of a challenge. Issues of storage, confidentiality, IP, conflicting funder institutional policies, difference of policies between collaborators, who pays for the open access, who deposits, who looks after it long term, and so on, are all issues that are being, but need to be addressed, and that we need greater clarity. But this is not very different from the kind of complex picture we had when we started this journey back in 2000 or whatever it was that we started this open access journey, and these are, I think, probably things that we will overcome as a community, as we did with the conventional outputs. So but the open data landscape is still evolving, and there are still some answers to be found, but it's been not quite as effective as it could be. But I think most of the stakeholders can see the great opportunities that exist in this area for research and researchers. So I think the solutions are beginning to appear, and the agenda, of course, is still gathering momentum. But challenges to open scholarship are not reasons not to do it. We are already reaping the benefits of the work we have done so far. So together we explore those challenges and try to come up with ways that we can overcome them together. And I think the many positive benefits of open scholarship will make this worthwhile. So welcome to Brunel, and I hope you have a productive morning, and I look forward to hearing the interesting and insights from our array of speakers. So welcome.